thought I would show you how to make char cloth. Char cloth is the thing that we use to catch the sparks when making a fire with the flint and steel method. And there are other materials that can be used for this purpose, but charred cloth is a very easy to use and beginner friendly. It is also very easy to make, as you will see here. I don't know all the terminology, but the thing with char cloth is we are gonna heat it up to a certain temperature, and then we are having it in an airtight container, so it doesn't get oxygen there. If it gets oxygen there, it will start to burn. So we are, if I translate from Swedish, it would be dry distilling. I don't know if that is correct term, but anyhow, we will keep out the oxygen and it will turn into char cloth. And what we will need for this is some kind of fabric. It can be either linen or cotton. Might work with hemp as well. I haven't tried that, but I have tried both cotton and linen, and both works well. But no synthetic materials, because that will only melt. I'm on my way out now to the woods, but when I was packing my backpack, I noticed that I'm running low on char cloth, so I'm gonna make some when I get the fire up and running. And then I'm gonna make some more. But I will do the preparing here at home, and I'm gonna use an old shirt as the base material. Here is my shirt, and it doesn't take that much fabric. I'm gonna rip out a part that I need. And something like this. This ended up a bit wide, but it will do. Depending on how wide these are, I'm gonna make some small rolls out of this, and the rolls will be obviously longer. So this is maybe a bit wide. It is better, of course, easier to make the fire, but it's not necessary. But I'm gonna take a couple of more, and then I'm gonna show you how I roll it up. So here I have the material I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna turn this into those char cloth pieces. What we could do is, of course, just to throw this in the container and make it char cloth out of these. But I used to create them in a form that is more practical. So if we take this as example, here is my container. It isn't 100% airtight, but it is enough. So I will need a thread, so I'm gonna save that for later. And then I am simply rolling this and rolling it tight like this. And now I'm gonna use this as my third hand, and then I'm simply gonna take the thread and tie it so the roll stays. And then when we char the cloth, it will stay in this shape, and it is more practical to handle. So that is a good and practical shape. It's like this. Don't mind about these. These will fall off when we are making it, putting it in the fire. So I'm gonna roll up the rest, and I can show you how it will look like when it's done. It will then turn into something like this. This is very brittle, so I could rip it apart, and it falls like small pieces. So it takes a little bit of careful handling there, but therefore I like to make it in this kind of shape, because if I would just have pieces like this, when I'm gonna handle the material and gonna put it on my stone, etc., this will just fall apart. So it is easier to have it like this. Yeah, I will roll these up and then we are ready for the next step. So I have my rolls here and I'm just gonna put it here in my fire steel box. And I'm gonna pack my bag and then we will turn these into char cloth. So see you in the forest. Alright, so we are out in the forest and I have had my lunch and now it's time to turn these rolls into usable tinder. So I will take my box here and empty everything out. I got some material for tinder bundle, my flint, striker, stone and some char cloth. So then I take my box and place these rolls aside like this. I'm not gonna close this completely. I'm gonna leave a little bit a small opening here in one corner. This is just because it's gonna make a lot of smoke and might build up some pressure. So just to let that smoke out, I'm gonna leave it. But not too much, because worst case, these rolls are gonna burn inside, and we don't want that. But this is okay. So I'm placing this on the fire, like so. I'm gonna make some more fire. It doesn't take much. We don't need a large fire, but a little bit more than that. And as soon as the temperature are rising here, we're gonna see it gonna come out smoke from the hole. One positive thing with having a small fire like this, if you have a large fire and you throw your box in there, it is fine. This will work as well, but the box will turn red hot and it will also react with oxygen. So you will see it sooner or later builds up some black scales. And this is basically, it's oxidizing the iron. So it's rusting, a very fast way to create rust. And these boxes are very thin. So in order to be able to have this box a little bit longer, I used to avoid making it red hot, because we don't need, for this charring process, we don't need that high temperature. I'm not sure exact what temperature we need, but I think it's below 500 degrees. So it's around 500 where the box will turn red hot. Now it starts smoking here. We can take a close-up. Now we can see it is thick smoke. And this smoke, it's some kind of gas, so it will burn. And it's totally fine even if it's on fire, if I can demonstrate. There we have, it's burning. And that's completely fine, because when this process is over, we are gonna close the lid completely. And since there is no oxygen inside the container, even if they are glowing or burning inside, it will stop when we close the lid. So I am gonna do this, and I'm gonna turn this box, so I'm making sure that all of the rolls are completely charred. So I'm gonna turn the box, roll it around until it doesn't come any smoke out of it anymore. Then I know it's ready. Turning the box, it's still coming smoke out. So I'm gonna continue like this until it doesn't smoke anymore. I have actually never timed, so I don't know exactly how long it takes, but we are talking about minutes. It's a relatively quick process. When you think it's ready inside, give it a couple of minutes extra just to make sure everything is completely charred. I think it's getting ready. It a little bit wet, this wood that I'm working with here, so it's a little bit difficult to see. It's a lot of smoke, but one sign is that it doesn't come any fire anymore. So then I think it's ready. But I'm gonna give it another minute just to make sure. This is one of the reasons I like to have my flint striker in a metal box rather than a leather pouch or something. And then you always have a container with you that you can create your char cloth. Alright, so I'm gonna lift it up. Here is the corner that we left open. So I'm gonna take it out of the fire and close it. Make sure it's closed, because if it comes any oxygen here, those rolls might ignite and burn up instead. So remember to close it. And as I mentioned, keep it a minute or two extra over the fire rather than taking it off too quickly, because you can't really overdo it. So it's better to have it longer to make sure because if it is too short, it won't catch the sparks. But I'm gonna let it cool down, and then we will take a look inside and see how it turned out. We are also gonna test it and see if it works. Now it's cooled down, and it is the exciting moment to take a look, see how it turned out. Looks good. We have our rolls. Here is a long one. I can take this apart. As you see, it's brittle. Now we're gonna test and see if these catch a spark. I'm grabbing my flint and a repetition from the flint striker guide, finding a sharp corner and placing my char cloth on top of the stone and start throwing sparks. So we can see that this is a working piece of char cloth. So now, my friends, I'm gonna pack everything up and gonna continue my journey. And that's one way to make char cloth. I hope you found this video helpful, and if there is anything you are wondering, you can reach out to me anytime and I will do what I can to help you. Until then, take care and good luck.